Breaking news now at 5. An Orlando commissioner bonds out of jail following her arrest this morning. The serious charges levied against Regina Hill.
And taking you now to a live look outside downtown Orlando. A cool front moving in today brought a drop in temperatures. How low it will go once the sun sets tonight.
Plus, an epic announcement involving a new land at Universal based on the hit movie How to Train Your Dragon.
WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
All right, that breaking news out of Orlando, where City Commissioner Regina Hill has been arrested.
Just last week, we told you agents were investigating Hill over claims that she exploited an elderly woman. And today, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement announced formal charges against her, and they include 3 counts of exploitation of the elderly, mortgage fraud, and some other charges. And we have a picture here in the monitor. We should have had one. We had Hill's mugshot earlier today. That's it right here. And we also have WESH 2's Dave McDaniel. He's been following this breaking news for us all day long. Dave, not long ago, we did hear from the special agent in charge.
We did, and he went into detail about exactly how thoroughly complex this thing was, how much they had to do with various witness statements and a lot of document analysis, all leading to the arrest of the Orlando City Commissioner.
Today, FDLE arrested Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill.
We had reported on the investigation and now an indictment.
Agents discovered that Hill used her influence over the victim to fraudulently obtain a power of attorney.
Mrs. Hill effectively betrayed the trust of her community by taking advantage of a 96-year-old elderly citizen.
Agents say Hill learned of the woman living in poor conditions and the two connected.
Ms. Hill became aware of this resident because of her position as the city commissioner, and that because of that she was able to lend what appeared to be some benefit services that then turned into these acts that we discussed.
Leading to charges of elderly exploitation, mortgage fraud, scheme to defraud, and 2 counts of fraud. Agents saying Hill used the power of attorney to buy a home in the victim's name. Plus,
Hill repeatedly used the victim's finances to purchase rental cars, hotel stays, personal luxury items such as expensive bottles of perfume from high-end retailers.
Saying the fraud exceeded $100,000.
It's also important to remember all the good things that she's done for her constituents and for this city.
An attorney who represented Hill at her initial court appearance spoke as he left the jail.
Obviously, the allegations against her are serious and shocking, but it's incredibly important to remember one thing. In the eyes of the law, she's presumed to be innocent.
Hill was in jail on bonds totaling $40,000, but left jail without a word a little after 2:30 in the afternoon. And again, the investigators say that their investigation is not complete, but at this point, they do not believe there are any other potential victims. Reporting live at the Orange County Jail, Dave McDaniel, WESH 2 News.
This is not the first time Hill has been in trouble with the law. She's been arrested more than 20 times. She has a lengthy criminal history dating back to the 80s, and that includes drug and public intoxication charges. This video from back in 2015 shows the moment authorities raided her home. That raid ended in the arrest of 5 people on drug charges. One suspect arrested was a relative of the Orlando commissioner. And Regina Hill is not the first Central Florida commissioner to be arrested.
In 2010, former Orange County Commissioner Mildred Fernandez was convicted on corruption charges after she was caught on video accepting a $1,000 illegal campaign contribution. Now, despite claiming she was the victim of a politically motivated setup, she pleaded no contest to 8 separate crimes, including 2 felonies. She was released from prison in 2021 after serving a 22-month sentence. She maintained through the entire process that she did nothing wrong. Former Orlando Commissioner Ernest Page was arrested in 2006 on bribery and receiving unlawful compensation. He threatened to kill a development deal if he didn't get a cut. Now, Page served 3.5 years of a sentence, getting out of jail in 2011. WESH 2 News live streamed the update from state officials about Regina Hill's arrest this afternoon. To keep up with breaking news when it happens, go to WESH.com or download our free WESH 2 News mobile app.
All right, bringing in Tony Manalfi now to talk about a major upgrade to the day, because it started so gray out there and it's beautiful now.
I walked my dog at 8:30 this morning. It was like 72 over 70. It was sticky, humid, muggy. It was raining. And then now, let me take you back outside, Nancy, to Lake County, beautiful Lake Dora. It's almost like a John Wayne sky there. Those puffy Q right there.
Beautiful.
Dry air. Yeah, it is beautiful. And the dew points have gone from the 70s. Remember, the higher the dew point, the more moisture, the stickier it feels. Now the dew points have dropped into the lower 50s. And you open up your window, you walk outside, it's fantastic. This front is cleared on through, and because of that, that drier air is currently working in across central Florida. 70 now in Palm Coast, 78 in Wildwood, 78 in St. Cloud, near 80 in Melbourne, but the air is so dry. Look at these dew points now in the 40s. We'll have to check that Daytona Beach and New Smyrna Beach odds there. Seems a little out of place compared to everyone else. You can see now the wind. Tonight, coming in out of the north-northeast, hard to even find a cloud. That's going to allow for these temperatures to cool on down. If you've got evening dining plans, catching up with some loved ones, or getting ready to take a jog over towards the famous trail in your area there, you're going to be in great shape here. Look at these overnight lows, upper 40s north and west, middle 50s here in town. Can it get even better for your Friday? The answer is yes, and I'm going to show you why when I see you coming up at 5:18.
A man arrested in connection to a gang-related drive-by shooting remains in jail tonight. Christopher Burke is scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. He's charged with second-degree murder in the death of an Ocoee High School football player in 2020. Police have not yet said what Burke's role was in the killing of Dexter Rentz, and another suspect in this case died in a different gang drive-by. Family members of the victim say Dexter was not involved in any gangs, but he was shot after a funeral.
If you knew Dexter, you loved Dexter. A lot of people knew him for the accomplishments that he did on the football field, but just as an individual off the field, Dexter was a bright young man.
Police believe Dexter Rentz was an innocent victim.
Orlando police arrested a man wanted in connection to a shootout that claimed a woman's life in September. 18-year-old Christian Childs is facing 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Michaela Patterson was killed during the shootout at the Jernigan Gardens apartments. Investigators say she called family members for help because she was being jumped. One suspect then opened fire, setting off a chain reaction of shots from several others. 2 other suspects are already in custody facing murder and attempted murder charges. Police are still looking for at least 1 more suspect.
Over in Seminole County, Castleberry police arrested this woman here in connection to an attack outside of a Goodwill. They say it happened on Tuesday at the store on Sun Shadow Drive. Jacqueline James is accused of questioning a woman about her service dog, and when the store manager tried to intervene, the victim claims James got physical with her and pushed her to the ground. James is charged with battery. She's being held on no bond. History delayed. The last launch of a rocket with a decades-long career was scrubbed today.
Our Space Coast Bureau Chief Scott Heidler was there for the Delta Heavy launch attempt on the Cape and maps out its history and the next launch try. Meteorologists from across the country are in Orlando this week for the National Hurricane Conference. On this 4th day of the meetings, they're looking at ways to keep you safe ahead of the season. Meteorologist Cam Tran joins us live now from the Rosen Center. And Cam, the discussion has included both national and local leaders from right here in our own backyard.
That's right, and the big message on this final day of the National Hurricane Conference is preparedness, and because that is all signs indicating we could be in store for a very active hurricane season. Another topic that was brought up this afternoon were hurricane evacuations with electric vehicles. I just left that session that wrapped up just a few minutes ago. Emergency leaders brought up concerns that EVs could possibly run out of charge mid-evacuation. If that happens, what to do? They also addressed some of the concerns about EVs and flooding. During Hurricane Ian, electric vehicles that were submerged in floodwaters were catching on fire due to the contact with salt water.
Because of the high voltage, because of the battery packs, because of these high voltage battery packs that can corrode, you have the risk of explosion as well as a fire that can burn very hot for a long period of time. So that in itself poses additional challenges for responding firefighters.
Now, Florida actually is second in the nation, the number of registered electric vehicles, with boasting well over 160,000 EVs. And one of the issues they were brought up, the state says they could possibly do a private and public partnership to allow more charging stations along evacuation routes in case electric vehicle owners do have to evacuate in the middle of a hurricane or a tropical storm. So really wrapping up the final day of the National Hurricane Conference, the big takeaway, preparations. All signs indicating we could be looking at a very active hurricane season. Hence, they don't want you to wait until June 1st to prepare. The time to prepare is now. Reporting live from the Rosen Center in Orlando, Cam Tran, WESH 2 News.
Still ahead, dogs claw their way into a car in an attempt to get a cat hiding inside.
This video is wild. The frightening encounter was all caught on the surveillance camera. The cat's owner tells us what it sounded like from inside the house.
Plus, a stunning sight that had neighbors lining up on the sidewalk. The effort it took to get an 8-foot gator out of a storm drain.
And Epic Universe, making sure the new attractions live up to its name. Today, the theme park gives us a new look at one of the lands.
When you build a world around a movie or film franchise that is as iconic as How to Train Your Dragon, you really want to make sure that you take care of the fans.
Yep, and if you're a fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. The exciting thrills in store with Hiccup and the Vikings.
Closed captioning brought to you by National Floors Direct.
Universal Orlando is giving us a brand new look at one of the worlds coming to Epic Universe. Isle of Burke will take guests into the world of How to Train Your Dragon.
The theme park is set between the second and third movies, and as WESH 2's Sonica Donge reports, it includes character meet and greets, dining, shopping, and even a variety of thrill rides. And the park will also bring a Broadway-style show called Untrainable Dragon. It's already playing in Universal Beijing, and it has received great reviews. Just another thing to look forward to around here.
Every time we get a new preview, it's so much fun. It's cool to see. All right,
Tony, what a day it's been. Got a lot going on. Rain, sunshine, clouds, a little bit of everything.
All in one day.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. Sounds like a meteorologist over there. Let me take you back outside there, Michelle, show you what it looks like. A few clouds if you are headed to the attractions tonight and or tomorrow. Boy, you've done well. You've got some great weather coming your way. There's this big storm system cranking up here through southern New England. That's pulling down that drier and that cooler air across the southeast, including central Florida. There's a front now, well east of Stewart. Temperatures along the coast, low 70s. Back through the interior, still quite warm. Upper 70s to near the 80-degree mark. Recent wind gusts here at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. 26-mile-an-hour wind gust over at OIA and 30 at Melbourne's International Airport. Let's take a look at tomorrow morning. 48 in Reddick, 49 in Denellen, 51 back towards Bellevue. We shoot a little bit more to the south and east. Wildwood 50, Eustis 52, Astatula, Groveland, Yalaha, Mount Dora, Claremont 52, 53 degrees should about do it. Then we shoot east to St. Cloud 55, Kissimmee 56 over towards the coast, right there on the sand. Low 60s, but just inland, middle and upper 50s. All right, up towards Apopka 54, Oviedo 55, Winter Springs 55, up towards Bunnell and Palm Coast right around 53, over towards New Smyrna Beach and Port Orange right around 55 or 56 degrees. To land your 12-hour forecast for tomorrow, low 70s should about do it. Set up for tonight, north-northeast winds are on the eastern side of high pressure. It's a cooler side, it's the drier side, and it's definitely the more comfortable side. So again, if you're off tomorrow, maybe hitting the attractions, you are going to be in great shape. Now, we do have a launch. It was pushed back till tomorrow because of some mechanical issues there. The weather concerns tomorrow will be the winds. We'll keep you posted on that. Higher chances of a liftoff from a weather standpoint tomorrow. Today was only 30% because of the winds. Tomorrow, it's up to 60 to 70% with improving weather conditions. All right, temperatures now tomorrow. At our local beaches, low 70s. Through the interior, middle upper 70s should about do it. Just a tad below the norm for this time of the year. All right, the attractions. The Epcot Flower and Garden Show, 9 and 9, 63, 75, 74. Perfect day to be, again, at the attractions. High pressure dominates the weather pattern here as we get you on it to Saturday and Sunday. Cool mornings, comfortable, warm afternoons with low humidity. We have a big soccer matchup. Orlando City taking on New York City FC. Kickoff here. here at 7:30, 74. 10 o'clock temperature coming in at about 69. All right, let's take a look now to set up for next week, because we have another big warm-up headed our way, and then another big front coming our way. That'll produce some showers and some storms. We'll take a look at the rainfall amounts, and we'll take a look at the 3-day temperature graphs for cities here coming up in the next half hour. 76 to 87 on Monday. Easter Sunday looks great. Near 90 on Tuesday. Front number 2 arrives on Wednesday.
Closed captioning is sponsored by New South Window Solutions.
All right, more news is coming up at 5:30, including the costly repair available for free.
Many homeowners know replacing a roof can cost thousands of dollars, and not replacing it can raise your insurance costs. What it takes to qualify for Habitat for Humanity's help. Also,
I'm Christopher Salas in Washington with how many fracture critical bridges there are in the United States and what can be done to protect them.
WESH 2 investigates, getting you the real answers.
How can you promise them that you're going to deliver on what they're asking?
Because we're committed to keeping you informed.
We found the reason
by uncovering the truth.
Can we talk to you for just a minute?
Keeping those in power accountable.
My first reaction was to call you.
And finding you solutions to ongoing issues.
And I ended up calling WESH 2. Definitely got some real answers.
WESH 2 investigates. Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News continues.
All right, we're learning new information about how the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed after being hit by a cargo ship. The National Transportation Safety Board says the bridge was fracture critical.
So that means regardless of the condition of the bridge, if parts suffered enough damage, the entire thing would go down. WESH 2's Christopher Salas is in our Washington bureau after going through the NTSB's report. Maryland authorities are now in salvage operations. Officials say the amount of debris has made it too dangerous for divers to continue searching for the remaining missing victims. Stay with WESH 2 for continuing coverage of the Baltimore Bridge collapse, from the salvage effort to rebuilding and reopening the port. We will bring you the latest information on air, online, on our website, WESH.com.
We're following some breaking news now. We are finding out that a deadly shooting along Dorado Avenue in Orlando happened because of a tenant-landlord dispute. We just got this update from Orlando police minutes ago. They say 2 armed people went up to the home around 11 this morning. There was an argument, and the tenant shot both people. Angel Luis Santos died at the scene, and the other person was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. Neighbors were understandably left uneasy.
A little concerned what's going on, what happened, you know. I try not to be a nosy neighbor, but we want to know what's going on.
Yeah, officers say all parties have been accounted for and they're not looking for anyone else.
People who had a bad smell interrupt their trip to Orlando will finally make it here tonight. The Frontier flight from Charlotte to MCO was supposed to leave last night, but people began to smell a strong odor during boarding. 200 people were on the flight and they got off using the jet bridge and the slides. One person fell and got hurt. No word yet on what caused that smell. Avelo Airlines is announcing its first route out of Lakeland Linder International Airport starting in June. Travelers will be able to fly to New Haven County, Connecticut. Flights will be available Thursdays and Sundays, and Avelo is the first airline to offer passenger service out of Lakeland in more than a decade. There have been no new cases of the bird flu at Lake Eola in recent weeks. Last month, we reported several birds, including swans, died from the bird flu. City officials announced today that there have been no avian flu-related deaths since March 1st, so the swan feeders are returning. You should still avoid touching the swans. So many questions. All right. Replacing the roof of a home can be expensive, but soon people living in St. Cloud have the opportunity to get one for free. Habitat for Humanity Greater Orlando and Osceola County is expanding a program that already exists in Orange County to St. Cloud. The city will provide the funding.
With the insurance crisis that we're all facing right now, a new roof with 2 different types of inspections, which we'll also provide, can lower their homeowners insurance, sometimes 20, 30, 40%.
So the goal is to do up to 20 roofs in St. Cloud. The program is free for those who live in their own home, own the home, live in St. Cloud, and meet specific income requirements. An orientation for those interested is set for 10 a.m. next Tuesday at Cannery Park. Home Depot has reached a deal with a roofing material and supply company. SRS Distribution specializes in supplies for roofers, landscapers, and pool contractors. Home Depot will buy it for more than $18 billion. The retailer is trying to build relationships with industry professionals to boost business. The deal is expected to close by the end of January.
Supersized wine bottle sales are about to become legal in Florida. Woo! Today in South Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that would remove the wine container capacity limit.
And people need these for different, I asked, I was like, would people buy those? Because I mean, like, but yes, if you have a wedding, if you have a special celebration, there's definitely things to do.
Or if you're like a mom on a Tuesday. Yeah.
You need to start lifting weights to pick that thing up. How are you going to get it?
The new law takes effect July 1st. Right now, Florida bans the sale of wine in bottles larger than 1 gallon unless it is sold in a 20-liter reusable container. Distributors and manufacturers are allowed to sell wine to other distributors and manufacturers in containers of any size. All right. Fun little development there. Amazon's major spring sale just came and went by fast. Did you miss it?
Yes, but it's okay. Our chief national consumer correspondent is putting together a whole calendar to show you when the next sales are and when is the perfect time to buy.
A Silicon Valley-based company that pairs startups with industry leaders has just opened offices at Neo City in Osceola County. Plug and Play is a platform that connects entrepreneurs, corporations, firms, universities, and government agencies so they can work together. The Neo City office will focus on introducing startups that could help advance the semiconductor industry. The founder and CEO of Plug and Play says they call themselves matchmakers.
And on one side, we have investors and VCs and corporations. And the corporation would say what technology needs they have, for example, for electrification, autonomous, connected car. And then we communicate that to the startups to solve their problem.
Plug and Play has already invested in more than 30 semiconductor companies. They have more than 550 partners, including Mercedes-Benz, Walmart, and Coca-Cola. New at 5, Disney's new cruise ship under construction is now floating in water. Check out the progress on the Disney Treasure. Disney says now that the ship is afloat, it can move on to the next phase of construction. The Disney Treasure will be based out of Port Canaveral and sail to the Caribbean. It departs for its maiden voyage later this year.
Basketball isn't only fun, it can teach valuable life skills involving teamwork and communication. Coming up next, this week's community champion is helping kids make slam dunks when it comes to good deeds. Plus, a South Florida raccoon is about to make his TV debut as the Cadbury Bunny. The hoops Louie had to jump through to get this honor and the special talent he wields in his off time. Tony.
And Michelle, outside right now, the weather is spectacular. The air is drying on out. Temperatures are in the 70s, but right around sunset here, they're going to drop off quite quickly. We'll break that down and let you know if it's going to stick around for Easter weekend.
This is Kellyanne. She's your morning meteorologist and Central Florida's certified most accurate.
No matter the forecast, I've got your day covered.
Start your day with meteorologist Kellyanne Class and WESH 2 First Warning Weather.
WESH 2 Community Champion is sponsored by T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network.
So many parents know that youth sports is more than just a game. Players are also learning life skills like teamwork and effective communication from their coaches.
WESH 2 Sheldon Dutez introduces us to this week's community champion who's been leading and guiding local youth basketball players on and off the court for more than 4 decades. And do you know someone with a history of doing good in Central Florida? WESH 2 wants to know about them. Nominate those with a track record of giving back for a WESH 2 Community Champion Spotlight. Email us details about your nominee to communitychampion@wesh.com, and they could be featured right here on WESH 2 on Thursdays.
All right, let's get outside because it is much nicer to do it right now than it was this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Feels great out there. I tell you what, I wish I was off this evening. Maybe, maybe I can somehow get out of work tonight.
Why don't you just go walk in the parking lot? We'll handle the weather. You go. You go.
I may do that. Hey, let me take you over towards Lakefront Park, Osceola.
That's a cool shot.
Beautiful.
That's one of our weather stem shots. So a lot of folks out there. A little birdie saying hi to everybody, too, I see there at the bottom of your screen. We take a look at downtown Orlando. We are looking good here. Crystal clear skies, big dome of high pressure building in. Look at the orange. That's all that dry air in play across the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. There's the front now. South and east of central Florida. Temperatures along the coast, upper 60s, low 70s. Back through the interior, upper 70s to near the 80-degree mark. But the air feels great. We've got a breeze here out of the northwest at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. The air is drying on out. By 11 o'clock, we're cooling down to about 64 degrees. 12-hour forecast here. Up towards Palm Coast, 61 at 9, 67 at 3, not even hitting the 70-degree mark up there in Palm Coast tomorrow. Back to the temperatures out of the front. Monday and Tuesday, upper 80s. Wednesday, late in the day, here comes the front. And with the clouds, it'll keep the temperatures in the mid-80s. So let's put it all together here for everybody right now. Tomorrow's the day of the week. 76 degrees after a cool start. We get you into Saturday and Sunday, 81, 83 respectively. Morning lows are in the 50s. Then we jump ahead now to Monday, Tuesday. The heat is on. 87 Monday, 89 on Tuesday. Here comes that next storm system on Wednesday. Behind it, it looks like another brief cool down, waking up Thursday morning to 79. By the time we hit the afternoon, look at that temperature, not even hitting the 80-degree mark.
A long-rumored moonshine cave may have been discovered under the North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. A sinkhole at the Speedway could expose remnants of this moonshine cave. Operations staff members noticed cracks in the concrete of the stands. They removed about 600 seats and found an open area roughly 700 square feet. For decades, locals have heard stories of illegal moonshine made and hidden under the grandstands.
Whether or not it's rumor, whether or not it's truth, it's kind of fun to think about. It is kind of part of the history for this area of the community. And it's one of the things that's kind of made this place, special over the years. Areas in the foothills, in the mountains of North Carolina. So, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
It's pretty cool. Speedway workers are assessing the next steps and how to make repairs in time for a NASCAR race in May. Beyonce fans have just a few more hours to wait before the release of her next album.
Act 2, Cowboy Carter, drops tomorrow, and the superstar has shared the track list for the album. One song called The Linda Martell Show is a reference to the first black woman to play at the Grand Ole Opry. There's also a track titled Jolene, which is a reference to Dolly Parton's hit song. And Parton actually mentioned earlier this month that she thought Beyonce recorded a cover of her 1973 hit. So everyone's waiting for that. Okay, new at 5, the Cadbury Bunny isn't a bunny at all this year.
What?
Meet Louie the raccoon from South Florida. Hershey announced this week he is the 2024 Cadbury Bunny and will soon make his debut in a Cadbury commercial. Louie also is an artist who sells paw print artwork online. Animal lovers voted in a March Madness-style bracket contest on Instagram to pick this year's Cadbury raccoon.
But he's not a bunny, so why?
Yeah.
Why?
No, I think they're trying to do that. Didn't they do something else last year? I kind of remember that. I looked at his artwork, though. It's literally just his paw prints. Yeah, I looked it up. I needed to see what it was for myself.
Michelle needs more work.
Watch your news at 6, straight ahead.
You really don't. I know what you're doing around here. All right, Summer Knowles joins us with what's coming up in the next half hour.
Let's just all recreate ourselves. I'll be Beyonce, okay? Moving forward. All right, next at 6, Orlando City Commissioner has been arrested and is now facing multiple felonies. WESH 2 was there when Regina Hill bonded out of jail this afternoon. The specific charges she is facing and why. And thousands of acres of local land and now off limits for certain things, why local leaders are calling it a win for Central Floridians.
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by T-Mobile.